Hey, welcome back. Now, we've done one exercise on Kanban and we've done the debriefing. This short video is about to introduce Kanban as a tool to you. You remember probably the most important insight from the previous exercise was that context switching has its costs. It not only delivers everything later to our client, it also creates much more stress. So when we follow Kanban, we try to address this issue. Kanban as a framework, as a tool, consists of various principles. Personally, I'd like to focus on 3. Principle number 1 is all about visualizing your workflow. Probably you have seen teams doing that. They put up a nice board on the wall where they have 3 or more columns, but the very one on the left is called the select column or the backlog. The one on the right is your done column, and the one in the middle is your work in progress column. Some teams even break this one down further. For the sake of simplicity, I've broken this down into 2 things. Let's say design develop as one and test and integrate or document as the second one. This is something that many teams do really well. They put a bunch of sticky notes on the wall and call this Kanban. Now, Kanban goes beyond that. Just putting things on the wall creates transparency. It doesn't necessarily allow for inspection and adaptation, which would be key pillars of empirical process control. The second principle, which from my perspective is the most important one, is called limiting work in progress or introducing so-called WIP limits. WIP limits are all about getting things done first before you start with other things. Or you can phrase it the following way: stop starting, start finishing. And we will explore how this looks like in a few moments. The third principle, which I believe is very important, is optimizing flow. This is about inspecting and adapting how the system is working for you and how you can optimize the flow, how you can increase the pace or reduce the time that it takes for one specific item to move from the top of your backlog to the done column. This is something that we can do through retrospectives in Scrum. Now let's go back to limiting work in progress. In our system, let's assume we put in a WIP limit of 2. This means we can start working on 2 things at the same time. Especially if we're a team, that's probably not the worst idea, because not everyone is going to be busy with one item. The moment we try to pull in a 3rd item, there's a stop, because we have the WIP limit of 2. We can only start working on the next one once we move one of our items into done. This means we create a significant incentive of finishing work and not only starting work. That means delivering value to our customers or delivering an increment so that we can get feedback on it and learn from it. Of course, there's also some flexibility in the system. There are tools and techniques you can use to deal with the exceptions of your daily work life. One of those exceptions could be when you face a dependency. Let's assume there is one item in your work in progress and you can't deliver it because there's a dependency to another team or someone else that is not part of your team. Instead of blocking your work in progress with this item, you can move it into a parking lot. What I would ask you to do is to make this transparent so that in your next retrospective, you can actually address this. Was this due to a lack of skills in our team? Or was this due to something else? Is there a way to prevent these kind of dependencies and parking lot items in the future? Another exception is stakeholders approaching you with something like an emergency. Again, there's a way to deal with this. Similar to the parking lot, you can create an emergency lane. And again, I would highlight those emergencies probably with a different sticky color, in our case, pink. What you need to do though is to make sure that you don't end up with having emergency over emergency over emergency, because that would again result in the team being completely overwhelmed. And while you have an emergency, I would advise you to put all the other items on hold so that everyone can put their energy and time and skills to the use of moving that emergency item to done as fast as possible, and then people get to focus on the work or on the items that they were working on before. You can see here that you can use this technique individually, within a team, or also as part of your organizational portfolio. I've helped organizations move their project portfolio into a portfolio Kanban and ultimately providing more focus to every single team, and being faster as an organization in delivering value and projects to their customers, both internally and externally. I really hope that this section on Kanban was insightful to you. I hope that you went through the exercise, you got some insights, you realized what the cost of context switching truly is, and that you are not an exception here. We all suffer from the same problems. And I truly hope that the toolkit that Kanban gives us with the 3 basic principles of visualizing your workflow, limiting work in progress, which requires a lot of discipline, and optimizing your flow will help you become more effective as an individual, as a member of a team, and if you're leading an organization, to create a more productive and more effective organization. I'll see you in the next module.